Fell chaser. A long forgotten mistake from your past that could reappear at any time and rip your life apart. Like a boomerang you tossed away years ago that's only just now looping back around, which you'd have no idea how to handle because you have no idea what it is. This is Braininess, and welcome to the fifth episode of this podcast. Here I am with Alina.
Hello.
Nick.
Hello.
And Moshbi. So yeah, please bear with us as we're going to go through the fifth chapter of this book and see what it has for us.
The first one's key. An ill-fated attempt to reenact a beloved memory years later, returning to a place that once felt like home, only to find it now feels uncannily off, like walking through a wax museum of your own childhood.
Okay, doesn't even have anything to say.
Okay, so like when you go back home after like a whole like year abroad, you're like, okay, kind of familiar place, but like it's not the same anymore, you know?
Because you already have the experience of living off home,
Yeah.
and what you thought of like home was, it's not that anymore. Because you're not that person anymore.
Yeah.
You have changed.
Yeah, and also that place can change as well. Like, I mean, just think about it. The world is changing constantly around us. I mean, so I feel like you don't necessarily notice it as much in the place that you're living. But if you leave a place and then come back later on, you'll see the effects that everything has had on that place. And yeah,
Exactly.
that combined with you changing, yeah, I mean,
Type shit.
yeah.
This
Yes.
also happens when you go back to like your old school or something. You're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I grew up here, and then you step into it, and then it's like, okay,
Oh, yeah.
this is not where I
Yeah,
grew
This
up
is
that's
at
not
all.
where, this
Yeah,
is not
that
how
shit's
it
like
used to be.
alien. I think
Yeah.
my old high school has a bunch of new stuff. I don't even like it has new, I think, new wings and stuff and everything. It's gotten
Yeah.
expansions since I've graduated. I feel like I would get lost if I went back
Exactly.
there, even though I spent so much time there.
Yeah.
Okay, so next one is Alasi. The sadness that there is no way to convey a powerful memory to people who weren't there at the time. Driving past your childhood home to show it to a friend or pointing at a picture of a loved one you lost, only to realize that to them it's just another house, just another face. This is kind of sad, but it's true at the same time. Like, no one would
It's
understand.
the observation, like if the other person has like, because you have a central mind frame of like the memory, it's very strong for you. If the other person, it's unlikely for him to feel the same.
Exactly, you have attachment to that home, to
Unless
that
you're very
face.
good
To
at
that...
explaining things, that's another thing. If you can like make them in the moment and try to explain it, if you're very good with your words, then it might be, but it's still very unlikely.
Yeah, still it's very unlikely. Like they can't really be attached to that memory, you know.
Yeah, it was like part of your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, from your point of view, it's very important, but to them, it's like not really as important. It's important when they view it like, oh yeah, it's something important to you, but like in terms of themselves, it's not really important to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like they can be touched by the memory that you tell them of that person
Yeah.
or at that home, but they can't really feel it the way you do. Yeah. Okay.
A priest. The feeling of loss that you never had a chance to meet a certain person before they died, which compels you to try to get to know them anyway. Gathering snapshots and stories to build out a sketch of who they were, learning them like a character in the novel, which makes them feel all the more alive, even though you've already skipped ahead and read the last page.
It's essentially with your like grandparents, or someone who you heard a lot of stories about, and then you
Yeah.
imagine like what kind of a person you'll be with those stories.
Or it can be like anyone. Like I personally resonate with this a lot, and I completely understand what you're talking about. Like you want to know that person, even though you haven't seen
Yeah.
them, and you just grab a little bit like from
Every memory of-
of other people of that person, and you try to like have an imaginary like personality of them. You know, you try to build a personality for
It's a
them.
little off topic, but that's why I like talking with like random family members, because they would have like very weird stories of like your grandparents. It's quite
Exactly.
interesting to
Yeah.
know these things.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's like.
And it's kind of interesting. I find it kind of interesting because you have your own perception of that person, and you don't really know if that's all like because no one talks
bad about
bad,
it.
bad about them. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
usually they
thing.
won't,
I
yeah.
also sometimes ask people that. Okay, what's one bad memory you have of this
Yeah.
person? I just want to know them like from the other side.
Yeah, but
In my
usually
family,
people
what they
don't
do
wanna
is
say that.
they would just try to, because obviously he's a deceased person and he's respect and everything. So
Exactly.
they would try to like frame it, be like, he would do that, but who doesn't do that?
Yeah,
Like, so
yeah.
you
I
don't
mean,
have
yeah.
to present
They
it.
try
in
to
that way.
like give them a good light because like yeah, everyone has their flaws, but they're gone now. It's better to remember them by a good memory.
By a good
Yeah.
memory, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you don't usually want to like speak badly about
Yeah.
someone's past. Like, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
I thought you had something to say.
Go on, Nick.
no, I'm sorry,
Focus
my mind got it.
momentum.
Yeah, no, I said like, yeah, like I mean that's how I learned about a lot of my relatives, like, because I have a very small family. I think like most people in my family are very old actually, or like middle aged or above. So and you know like a lot of much older people. So I feel like a lot of my family history is like, well, in the past, you know, people who died either when I was very young or before I was even born. So a lot of that, so it's kind of strange that I learn about a lot of that family history indirectly.
Yeah.
So you
and
don't-
you haven't seen them.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't ever really know if that's, well, how they really were as people, because you're just coming up with these ideas based on what you've been
Or
told
it's
and what
just
you're able
one
to piece
side of
together.
their personality. It's not their
exactly.
whole personality. Yeah.
That's me with my like dad's side of the family because my mom's side I grew up with them. They were all there. Like thankfully they're all alive, other than like my grandfather. But even him, I met him like until like he died. But my dad's side of the family, most of them passed away way before I was born, or like they lived so far away from us that we barely met them before they passed away. So for them, I only hear stories about them through my dad, which he like barely tells. So like there's some images of them in my head, but like I don't have that much to like base them off of, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one is Fell Chaser. A long forgotten mistake from your past that could reappear at any time and rip your life apart. Like a boomerang you tossed away years ago that's only just now looping back around, which you'll have no idea how to handle because you have no idea what it is.
You have no idea what it is.
Yeah, you have no idea what it is.
Yeah, there's some mistakes you do, but like 15 years ago, and then
You forgot about it. And
Yeah, I'm not saying you forget about it, but then they're like somewhere in the back of your memory, you know what you did, but it's still like it's a long time, and then
Yeah.
that is. But
It's like not significant anymore that you like dwell over it.
yeah, it's
Exactly.
coming back like in another form and shape, you know?
Yeah.
But it feels like you have been there, like you have been through this trouble before, but you don't know how to describe it. It feels familiar.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, do you guys have any experience of this? I mean, we're still very young for that.
I feel
Yeah.
I feel like this is something that would come back to bite you like much later in life, you know? Yeah, because it
Also,
could
like
yeah,
10 years.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like some weird mistake or something that we didn't think that much of. Like, or even if it did affect us negatively at the time, like it could be a small thing we did now or maybe a couple of years ago, and then maybe 20 years from now, something related to that somehow comes back up.
Comes back, yeah.
But I guess you wouldn't know, because I think that's the whole point, is it's something you wouldn't expect to ever really come up again. But,
Exactly.
But then somehow...
It better not come up.
Exactly.
Okay.
Something we've all done here is definitely gonna come up again.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like
I'm just
even
waiting
if it's
for
a
it.
small thing, yeah. Even if it's a
University.
small thing, yeah, in university, something's gonna come up.
in
again.
what reference, after like 10, 15 years, or like,
Yeah, like something dumb you did and then you remember
obviously,
it.
obviously, you gather around and then you can talk about anything. For example,
Yeah.
last night, like a stupid thing, it's just a memory. You remember
Yeah.
something and then
Or especially since we have all like came from another place to this place. If we like at some point again we want to immigrate to some country or some
Yeah.
other city,
It will
we
be
would
this
just
all over again.
this all over again. Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
The next one is Kerala. The sorrow of imagining the wealth of knowledge forever, lost to history, knowing that we'll never hear the language of Etruscans, the battle cry of the sea peoples, or the burial chants of the Neanderthals. That we'll never read any more than a fragment of the works of Blake, Sappho, Aristotle, or Jesus, or enjoy the untold treasures of so many burned libraries and forgotten oral traditions and unrecorded songs, any of which might have made up the cornerstone of the canon that we'd all be able to quote by heart and couldn't imagine living without.
Personally, I don't really relate to that. I'm not bothered by what is done is done. I wouldn't contemplate on the knowledge that is gone. Rather, there's still enough knowledge for
Actually,
us to
I am
contemplate.
very bothered
yeah,
by
me
this.
too. Because, like, okay, for me personally, since Pakistan was like colonized by the British, we have so much history that's been lost to just their like
Removal.
yeah,
of the,
their like torture and their evilness. I'm like, you do
Somehow we
see.
do have that history.
We
in
do
India.
have a lot of it,
Not in
yeah,
Pakistan,
but
in
it's
India.
connected to other countries, or it'll never be part of us ever again. You know, we'll
Us
never.
as Pakistan, no, it won't. Us as India, yes.
Let me do my point, man. What was I saying?
about
Like
the
the
British
art
colonization.
history.
Yeah, like it will never be part of us again because it was erased from us, and then like the entire partition thing, and then like it's never gonna be us, even though we're so closely related. I can say that as a Punjabi because we're so closely related to the Indian Punjabis too. We're basically the same people, but because we're in a different side, most of our history is just basically lost because we can't relate to any of it because it got erased over time, or people just erased it because they were like it's a Hindu practice or something
yeah.
like that. I feel like a lot of our history is just lost in that
History
way.
and culture.
Well,
Yeah,
I
it's
would
not
disagree.
especially.
Yeah.
The thing is, our history as Pakistanis is erased. I would say that because our history is not. Our country is like a very new country.
Yeah.
So we have to go to India for our history. I have found stuff about Kashmir from like Indian history books. Like my friend got me a book. There was a lot of things written about it. So with Pakistan, it's such a new country. Never mind. Let's not go there. Our entire history comes from India, and like if you dig far enough, I mean, it's still difficult. It's not widely available. You can still find it. I feel. Okay, some parts of history, like very small towns, that might be gone, but on a bigger scale, I think you can still find
No,
it.
but for example, for us, like in Iran, going back thousands of years ago, like when Alexander the Great attacked Iran, they burned down like libraries that we
Yes.
had, and like a lot of our history and like sciences that by then they had reached or anything, like they were all burned out.
Yeah.
You know, like this kind of stuff, or the thing that is talking about, like the languages that are nowhere, like no one is there to
Yeah.
like speak it. And,
Exactly.
yeah, this kind of thing.
And I think the Mongols also burned the library of Baghdad,
Yeah.
and then that
That
also
was-
lost.
that was a
yeah,
tragedy.
and that was
That
also
was
a
a
ton
tragedy.
of
Yeah,
knowledge
these
lost.
are the-
and most of and a lot of this knowledge, has never been recovered since then. And even like something more recent, like with what happened during the colonization of the Americas, the native people were largely
Yeah,
massacred,
their history.
and
yeah,
with them their history was also
history
erased.
was erased,
There was
yeah.
entire tribes that we never even know existed because
Exactly.
a lot of their because of the way they recorded history by passing it down through generations, and so when there's
there's no one to
exactly
narrate it,
so
yeah.
a lot of that is just lost forever, and it's sad to think that there's so much knowledge and so many I guess people's wisdom that we're never going to see because of things like this.
I
Exactly.
believe the idea of history is somewhat false
Yeah.
because I do believe that like history is always written by the person who's in power at the moment. You, especially from Pakistan, you hear books about Pakistan from certain years, and then whoever was in control over that certain period of years, they were like, this is the best person to ever. Like, so
Oh, yeah.
history is so altered. I don't believe in anything. So like I would have like facts and figures I might follow, but like this person was very good, this was bad, I can never take that. First of all, I don't think anyone who's like that amount of power cannot be a good person.
Yeah.
You have to be a bad person in order to have this much power.
Well, of course, no one can ever know what really happened in those times because none of us were there. That's why we look at different. That's why we look at
Sources,
different
you need
sources,
different sources.
and then we realize, okay, the truth probably is somewhere in the middle of all of those.
Exactly.
Like for example, 15 years ago, the Mughal dynasty were said to be like the best dynasty ever in the world. They were like, these are the best people, saviors of Muslims and all that. Now when you like read more about it, you understand.
For us, they were never the best.
Yes.
I mean, we never looked
Yes, so it's all from
They-
different
they-
perspectives.
they were good
Obviously,
kings.
people the Mughals writing about the Mughals are going to say good things.
Yeah.
Another group that's not maybe.
They were always hated from
There were always books. We were just never taught about them. Like when you start learning on your own, that is when you figure out, okay, everyone was shitty at the time. But they never fought. Okay, it's just very off topic, but they never fought a war on religion because there were Muslims fighting Muslims on the topic of religion because they understand they were the kings.
This is off
No,
topic.
it's off topic, yeah.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, I feel like we're like giant history nerds, so we kind of understand this a bit because at least in perspective of us, we do like reading history, we do like knowing about it, and like we
Who
always
are we
think
without our
about.
history? Who are we without our history?
Yeah, and like us especially, we love reading about it, love knowing more because I mean we're kind of those people who are like into history, you know.
By us, you mean all of us? Or
Yes,
just
us in specific. Like, and I feel like this is a bit more like devastating because like there's so much history that we could have known, but we don't.
Exactly, yeah.
And like it could have been so much fun to know about it.
Yeah.
The next word is etera. The feeling of emptiness after a long and arduous process is finally complete. Having finished school, recovered from surgery, or gone home at the end of your wedding, which leaves you relieved that it's over, but missing the stress that organized your life into a mission.
Yeah, this is like when
It-
kinda.
I'm sorry, but this leaves you with a big now what?
Yeah, exactly. Kind of relate because I graduated kind of recently. I remember we had like rehearsals and stuff like the week before graduation. I had finished my exams like 2 weeks before graduation, and I was like, okay, I'm finally done. But now like we're getting ready to like graduate and stuff, and then graduation day happened. It went by so fast, and then later when I came home, I was like, what now? Because I spent like 14 years in that school. I was like, what do I do with myself now?
Yeah,
you
what
know?
now? Who am I now?
Exactly. It was like a hole is there, and I don't know what to do about it.
Exactly,
you know?
Yeah,
exactly. And I think that's the thing. As soon as one mission is complete, you need to set another
No,
one.
Yeah.
Yes,
I feel like
otherwise
maybe it's not true for you guys, but for us, I feel like it'll be true for you because you come from different culture. Like the emphasis on education is very big on. So like grade 12, you finish grade 12, it's like very easy afterwards. And then you were like done with it. You're like, now what? Like such a big thing is done.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
it's also the same for us. Yeah.
I feel like because it is made such an important thing in our life, and it is important that like you're in this like process of just like, okay, well, I need to get through to
A
graduation.
milestone, yes.
Yeah, I need to finish this milestone. I need to get to this milestone, and then once it's done, once you have like a tiny bit of a break, you're like, what am I doing? You know,
Yeah.
like what's next?
What's
what am I
next?
so?
Your brain does not know what to do when it has nothing to figure
Yeah,
out.
exactly. Especially when we were like trying to figure out to come to university and stuff. It was like, okay, I need some direction. Man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like there was never anyone guiding you, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's very important that sometimes you take time to deliberately do nothing.
Yeah.
And just start saying who you are and what you want from life, and have no missions. Even like if you go to the like nature and sit there for like 30 minutes and just
Yeah.
don't think about anything, don't listen to music, just do nothing. Actually, this is something that people say it's gonna like help you a lot in life.
Yeah, for sure. It could help to
Absolutely.
clear your mind. Yeah.
Tuesday for
I do think taking a break and like having nothing to do for a bit is a good thing.
But
A
not
bit
for
is a
too
good
long.
thing.
Yeah, not for too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I agree with. But for a little bit, if you're like in this like back to back like
Yeah.
very stressful life, I feel like it's a good thing to take a break and like, I guess,
your body gets rebooted.
yeah, and like figure out what you want to do. You
Yeah.
know.
Exactly.
But that's the thing. I think that you never really. The thing is, you never really know, like what you're gonna be doing for the rest of your life. Either.
Yeah.
You're gonna constantly be going through changes and having moments like this. Like I myself am
Yeah.
having this now that I've graduated this past semester. I need to figure out what the next thing to do is. And since my past semester has been very light, in a way I feel like I've already been doing nothing for a while. So in my mind, I really need to move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you don't really you're never really sure about the steps you're taking, you know? I guess because people might give you advice, and you might do your own research, but I mean, at the end of the day, like it's very hard to decide like what the best step forward is, because every possibility seems equally as unknown to you at this point,
Yeah.
because you can't really see what the future is going to be. So
That's when you have to like take the fall. you
yes,
know?
exactly.
Like
yeah.
go for it.
Yeah, so no matter how much time you take at the end of the day, you're still going to need to take a sort of risk. You're going to need to take a plunge into something
Yeah.
unknown, and you don't know how it's going to work out. But I guess in a way, that's part of the interesting thing of life, actually.
Personal life.
Yeah.
The next one is canopsia. The eeriness of places left behind. You can sense it when you move out of a house, noticing just how empty a place can feel. Walking through a school hallway in the evening, an unlit office on the weekend, or fairgrounds out of season. They're usually bustling with life, but now lie abandoned and quiet. It's easy to forget that most of your memories happened in places that are still around, the walls mostly unchanged, carrying on in your absence, but the world you once knew and the people you still remember have long since moved on, replaced by so many others who have passed through these doors.
So it's pretty much like the other one that we were reading. In the
Yeah.
other word, I think the factor that was important, it was you were changing most of the time. Like if you see
Yeah.
someone, like you're the one who has been changed. But in this case, I think the place has changed. Like it's
Yeah.
not the one that you knew before.
It's kind of like when you move out of the dorms.
Mhm.
Like I remember
You
last,
empty the room.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
empty the
Yeah.
room. Like last year when I was moving out in the summer, because I was one of the few last people left. The hallways were empty, everyone was gone, and then I was like moving out. Like my room was like pretty full with most of my stuff because it was me and one of my other roommates. So it was just us. I remember when she left, her side felt so empty. It was like the beginning of the semester all over again, you know. And when I left, I was like, I used to live here, you know. I used to spend like 24/7 for an entire year here, and now it's just empty. It
It's different,
always
yeah.
feels very weird when you're walking out of it. It's the same when you like go home too. Like your room isn't the same anymore. You don't live in it anymore. You're like
Exactly.
there temporarily, you know.
It
Yeah,
feels very
exactly.
strange. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your family might
You don't
like,
belong there.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. And like your family might put stuff in there. They might start using it for storage.
Exactly.
So then there's all this
Exactly.
weird, unfamiliar stuff, like you know, or like boxes or this. Yeah, in general, it doesn't feel like it belongs.
You
to
can't
you.
even
Yeah.
really complain about it.
Yeah.
You know, you're not living
Exactly.
there.
And there's a weird. Yeah, so like I grew up in a, you know, so I had like a childhood house that we sold like shortly after shortly after my sister and I became adults.
Yeah.
So, you know, we had so many memories in this house and it was always so familiar to us because we spent our entire childhood, well, basically I would say like, yeah, the vast majority of our childhood's there. But we still like live in the same area, so sometimes we drive past it. You know, someone else bought the house now, so now someone else is
Yeah.
living there.
It feels
And every
weird.
time you drive past it, it just feels strange. You know, there's unfamiliar cars in the driveway now.
Exactly.
And it looks like the house you remembered, yet I don't know. There's something off about it. It's
Yeah,
weird.
yeah.
It's like you know that you spent your whole life in this place.
The same
but it
happens
doesn't.
to me.
Yeah, exactly. But yet it still feels unfamiliar for some reason. It's really
Yeah.
strange because someone else has kind of put their own touch on it. Now.
Exactly.
So it's not yours anymore, even though it was for so long.
We had a family house. We sold it like last year or 2 years. No, 2 years ago. And so it belonged to my grandfather, and he bought it like 30 years ago, something. So me and my cousins, like we had so many memories there, and we grew up there. Like it was a family house. It was big, like 3 stories, like in each floor, like one of my relatives were living in and stuff. So when we sold it like 2 years ago, and whenever we it's still in the same area that we live right now, and we like pass through it like often, very often. It feels so weird. I'm like, oh my god, this is our house, this is our childhood house, and I can't even go in right now. It feels so weird.
That happens with my old school. Like, fortunately, we still have our house. So this is the same happens with my school. I see my school. I'm like, yeah, I used to do stuff here.
Yeah,
That's all.
it's very.
This happened with my like grandmother's house in Pakistan. It has 2 floors, and like when we were kids, the entire family, because it's a big family, they used to occupy both the floors, right? And then one by one, everyone like got married. They moved out. They moved to their own places and stuff. But then all the cousins used to come back to like in the
Hang out,
summers.
yeah.
We used to hang out. We used to live there for like a few months in the summers, and then like we go back to our houses, and then. Over time, because all the cousins have grown up, like we have our own lives now. We can't visit all the time at the same time. Most of us are in university and stuff, so like we don't come back home anymore, like that often, to Pakistan at least. And like they put the bottom floor on rent. That was like the main one, right? So they put it on rent. We still go in it sometimes to like meet the other people, but like now there's someone else living there. But I specifically have so many memories with that bottom floor because it was like the main area, right?
Exactly.
It was always open. Everyone was always running in and out. I remember when we would arrive, everyone would run out to greet us, and like whenever someone would come, we'd run out to greet them. We would spend all day playing there, and it's so weird looking at it because instead of going there, we go up now.
Yeah.
Instead of like going towards where like our childhood was.
Oh.
Like the top floor is also like part of our childhood, but like the main one was the bottom one.
Yeah.
So it feels weird.
I see. Yeah.
Type shit.
Okay, the next one is half-wise. Suddenly aware that you are more than halfway through a vacation or semester or other positive experience, noticeably closer to the end than the beginning, as if someone had flipped your mental hourglass overnight, turning a rush of fun surprises into a trickle of last hurrahs.
So the winter break ending.
Yeah, I feel like
This is literally our position right
You
now.
guys are going to that
It's coming to
background.
an
Oh yeah,
end.
you're not a part of us anymore. It's you guys.
Yeah.
Well, now
not us.
winter break is infinite for me. You know,
Yeah.
you know, at least until I run out of money. Then
You get a job.
then there's a new then there's a new adventure. Homelessness. That's gonna be fun.
Homelessness.
Yes,
Or
but-
job and being
Nick, you
rich.
can always live in the library. You know.
That is true.
I mean-
Exactly.
Nick,
And-
really, I've not heard good stories about people who live in the library.
I mean, yeah, there was somebody in our there
I
was
know.
somebody who did that here. They lived there for like 2 years doing that.
I know who that is.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
I know that person, and it did not ended well for them. So
I
let's
mean,
not
yeah,
go there.
Yeah.
I can't assume
Yeah.
that
I
ending.
mean, as I imagine.
I can expect that.
But
Yeah, this
yeah.
is us right now because everyone's coming back.
Yeah, and
It
it,
was so
reminds you of the
empty.
semesters getting like started, and yeah,
No.
I don't want that. Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. After some, astonished to think back on the bizarre sequence of accidents that brought you to where you are today, as if you'd spent years bouncing down a plinko pegboard, passing through a million harmless decision points, any one of which might have changed everything, which makes your long and winding path feel fated from the start, yet so unlikely as to be virtually impossible. Huh. It's basically like all the everything you did to get to this point, like the small things, the big things, and like it feels weird to think about. Like you'd never expect to be here, but you are here now. You know.
Like, for me, I think I personally see it like me being here right now at this university, like choosing what I'm studying right now and stuff. Like there were like a lot of sequences, like bizarre
Yeah.
sequences that happened and that brought me to this place as I am right now. And like despite like minute change in every one of them, like could have brought me somewhere else.
Exactly the same. Like
Oh,
especially coming here, it was like.
Yeah, especially coming here.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think most people can relate to this for this place at least, because it's like the small things that make you end up to this specific university, because it's either like, okay, it didn't, for me at least, my parents didn't want me to go to Turkey because my brother's here. So that's like a small thing that happened for me. So for some people it's like they wanted you to go to the Ankara campus, but they ended up here instead. And then for some people it's like I didn't really have that much of an idea, so I just ended up here, you know.
Exactly.
It's like the small things that connect everyone to this place exactly, you know.
Yeah,
And the
thing-
feeling to like trying to connect the dots that how you
Yeah.
ended up here is kind of interesting.
yeah, exactly. Like it,
Whoever
yeah.
you talk to, I'm sorry.
No, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Everyone you talk to seems to have a very specific set of circumstances that led them to being here.
Yeah.
There's no one who just, I don't know, it feels like there's no one who just came here like just because
Wishful.
like what it was their first choice or their
They've
their
always
first
loved it.
expectation. Yeah,
Have
there's no
it.
one who grew up with it being their dream to
Yeah.
come to this
Exactly.
university.
It's
you
not
know?
Harvard,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
The
yeah.
thing is, it's like it's
No.
in the middle of nowhere.
I have met people
There
whose
are
dream
yeah,
was it for to come
for
to this
specifically
institute.
this
Maybe if you
university.
had family here
yeah,
or
if you had
something.
family, then the people that is understandable. But like this place specifically, you only find it out when you're reaching that point, you know.
Yes,
like you
exactly.
only get information about it when you're like, okay, this is probably the university I'm going to, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, or
And
at the very
everyone-
least, when like you wouldn't ever think of it before you reach the point of your life where you're looking
Yeah.
into universities.
Yes.
And everyone has like some sort of like bizarre circumstances
Exactly.
to end up here. It's kind of very fun.
It's very fun, yeah. Whoever you talk to has a story about how they ended up being
Yes,
here.
yeah.
I mean, and I think, yeah, of course, it's not just for this place. I mean, the same could be said for quite a lot of different
Yeah, that's
circumstances
the
people
thing,
have.
yeah.
Yeah, because I think that's the point, you know, is, I mean, yeah, like, is that anyone's unique circumstances or, like, no matter what they're doing in their life, yeah, like, it takes very little, even like a very small number of things could have went differently and it would have changed the outcome completely.
Exactly.
Sometimes I think even just like a small minute detail, like just one thing happening on a certain day of your life can sometimes change things completely in your life. It can change the whole course of your life essentially.
I mean, I think this goes for most universities. I think we just related to this because this is where we are.
Yeah, exactly. I think that for us, that's what.
It's our center point.
Exactly.
For all of us.
For reference sake.
So the next one is a spinning playback hit. The disorienting feeling of meeting back up with an old friend and realizing that you've become different people on divergent paths, that even though they're standing right in front of you, the person you once knew isn't really there anymore.
This is when you go back home and meet your friends. This happened to me after my first semester when I went back. I was like, these people aren't really...
Even after the first semester?
Yeah, because...
You went back home?
Yeah, because it was such bizarre circumstances. It was like, okay, I saw these people not even a few months ago, yet they act so different now that like I have gone to a different place and come back, you know? And like maybe because it was the same for them too. They were in a different place and they came back home and like we met each other, but
you all changed.
Yeah, you all changed.
It wasn't just you or them. All of you changed.
And like no matter how much you try to keep in contact, people are going to change in ways that you never notice.
Exactly. And you kind of find out that, okay, maybe right now you don't really have so much in common with them.
You don't connect anymore.
You don't connect anymore,
You observe more once you stop living with them. Like
Yeah.
When you come back, you don't really have them every day, so you start noticing everything they do.
Exactly.
It's also like the circumstances of most of our friends are from like school and stuff and like your daily life. Those circumstances are removed now, so then you like start noticing, okay, this is how this person actually is when I'm not meeting them all the time, you know?
Exactly.
It
Like,
just
this is how
changes.
they come across the other people who are not their family.
And I also think a lot of people you meet when you're in high school, like really it's friends because of circumstances.
Yeah.
You see them every day.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
guys
Not necessarily because they're the best people for you to be friends with, not necessarily because you connect with them on a lot of levels. Yeah, exactly. It's just because
It's the
you're in
same
the
for
same place.
university, I would say. I mean, for example,
But the thing is, in university, you
You're
start to
more
learn.
mature.
Yeah, in university,
Yeah.
you're more mature. You know more about like what you want in life. You know more about what you value in friends and in people in general. So I feel like that's why the friendships you form in university are more likely to. They're more likely to last, and they're more likely to be strong and meaningful than the ones you
I feel
had
like
before that.
It's more personal.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
more
exactly.
personal.
Essentially, it's a lot of time you live together, you eat together, you spend I spend a lot of time with you guys. So it's like it also it plays a big part of it. With school, you're mostly spending time with your parents, and essentially they're your best friend. But university, you have to choose what person to be friends with.
Exactly.
I also feel like you meet so many people here and you're also changing yourself. You're also like creating your own boundaries. You're turning into your own person.
You
And
don't
then-
have a parental bubble around you anymore.
Yeah, you meet so many people and then you have to see the people you work with on your own.
Exactly.
When it's in school, it's like, okay, these people are in my class, these people I relate to, these people are similar to me, that's it.
And you mostly make, when you're at a school, you
Yeah.
mostly make friends with people who are at your class.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you don't have enough options. But
Yeah.
for us, I don't
We're
have
all
class with any of
yeah. We're all like completely different from
We're
each
all
other.
complete-
But
yeah.
like we all work, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
you create your own, I guess sort of you could say family, like a found family you could say. And it's like your own type of people. That's why I feel like the friendships you make here, either once you leave, they either disappear completely because it was circumstances, or they're like for life.
Exactly. They
So I
left.
think it
Exactly.
can start as a circumstantial thing, but
Yeah.
with time,
With
Like,
time, you
there's
learn
this-
eventually that we're good
this
friends.
thing
well, of
my
course.
grandmother says you spend your entire day with a donkey, you'll find attachment to him too.
Oh my god. Exactly. That's what it is.
Wow.
I'm not calling you. I'm just saying, if you spend a lot of time with anyone, you can be friends with them, unless they're fundamentally evils.
Exactly.
I mean, sometimes I even think about that with the friends that, friends that I used to have, in Lithuania.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen them in so long now. I can't even imagine what they would be like if I met them now. Because even the one friend who I've kept in contact with since then, I don't know if our lives went completely different directions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would be curious to see, but I wonder if we would ever. I wonder, like, if we would still be able to connect the way that we did before, because this was someone who was, I considered one of my best friends during that time, but who I wonder if I could ever rekindle that same thing, based on the way things have changed.
If you connected once, I feel like once you guys meet each other, you do connect again if you were really good friends.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
exactly. You
Perhaps,
want to.
yeah. I mean, but that's but I guess that's if you didn't stray too far in a different direction, maybe. Because
It also depends on the person. I'm sorry to cut you off, but like if you're like friends, like if you have a certain relationship with someone, you see them and then like your mind directly goes back like this is the person, and then you become that.
yeah.
Next question.
The next one is epistrix, a disconcerting cluster of endings that all seem to happen at once. A random barrage of departures and closures and divorces and series finales and celebrity deaths, which leaves you anxiously aware that the author of your story seems to be wrapping up an awful lot of loose ends.
The author.
Yeah. It's kind of like the end of the year when like people graduate and stuff, and like you see everyone leaving. This happened last year too. Was like everyone left, and then like you don't know where they're going. A lot of things seem to be ending at the same time, and then you're like, what's happening here?
But it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Like, you see people leaving.
Sad. Kind of hard to process at the time. I think a lot of it though happens after the fact. That's when you realize, wait, shit, these people are gone now.
Exactly.
And it doesn't hit you at the time so much.
Yeah.
It's just like the moment of realization if you think hard enough about it.
Yeah, exactly.
But being aware that like most of the relationships are like temporarily. I wouldn't say like you would end your relationship with that person, but the thing is, it's not going to be like as the same. Yeah,
It's sad if it's the same. You want your friend to grow.
Yeah, it's your situation changes. Like your friends are still there. Your like relationship with them still exists, but it's circumstances change.
A different form of relationship.
Yeah, and like you don't know what to expect, but like eventually you get to it.
Yeah, exactly. So the last one is hark. A painful memory that you look back upon with unexpected fondness, even though you remember having dreaded it at the time, a tough experience that has since been overridden by the pride of having endured it, the camaraderie of those you shared it with, or the satisfaction of having a good story to tell.
Yeah. So when you like go through an awful experience, but then you're like, okay, I kind of needed that in my life. I kind of needed that growth, but like you kind of look at it as a changing moment. It's painful. Like in the moment, it was painful, but like now it's
you're glad it happened.
Yeah,
you're glad it
That's
happened.
the quote. Like, everything is a tragedy in the short life, and in the long run, it's
a
calm.
life lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a story you tell. Yeah,
exactly.
You
Like,
survived it.
Yeah, like even if nothing particularly good comes out of it in the long term, or if you don't learn much of a lesson, exactly.
It's a good story, yeah.
Like, I often kind of feel like that's honestly like one of the fun things in life is to go through crazy experiences just so that you could tell people about them later
exactly.
on. That's something
Mushes life philosophy.
yeah, exactly.
And what strengthens friendship is actually going through a tragedy together, So
Oh,
you
yeah,
have,
for sure,
like,
yeah.
if you survive out of it, hopefully you survive.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
You have a good story to tell.
Yes, exactly.
You like relate to each other more.
Exactly, and you have to handle the situation, and the way everyone is taking responsibility to like get out of that situation is like it strengthens this friendship.
Yeah.
And it kind of cements everybody's role in that friend group as well,
Yeah, it shows like who are your true friends.
Yeah.
He's the one like yeah.
So like
It's okay if we all end up on like an ill-fated hiking trip and we get lost for 2 weeks or something and we make it out alive, then maybe that'll be when Mushfi shines for all of us.
The thing is, I just be happy because like any shitty thing is happening, I'm like just 1 more month or like 3 more days. Because obviously the sad feeling goes. I'm just waiting for it to go, and then it just becomes like normal.
I see. Okay, so this was the last word. Do you guys have anything to add? It was an interesting chapter. It mostly talked about
the past.
and how you relate to past right now. But do you have anything to add?
Not really, no.
No? Okay, so thank you for listening and see you in next one. Take care. Bye.